Song and
Great.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, friends of Glenn, family of Glenn, and want to be friends of Glenn? Glad you all could be here tonight. We have a great room full of many talented people from all walks of life. And my name is Jeff Ziv, for those of you who haven't met Ziv. Glenn and I have been very close friends since about 1967. Hello. And I'm very proud that we're doing something in his honor tonight. As you all know, Glenn's life was about the music, thank you. But Glenn's life was music. Music and Glenn were like two sides of the same coin. You couldn't know Glenn and not have sang a song with him, or listened to him sing a song to you. So that's the plan for tonight. We're going to sing the songs that we sang together, that we wrote together, that we enjoyed life together. I've been thinking of some stories I could tell about Glenn. There's a few. We traveled on the road together, and there'll be time for that later. We're also going to share the mic, so anybody else in the house who has a story about their experience with Glenn, please come and share with us. We are going to pass this mic around in a little while. Glenn's sister's going to sing for us tonight. Yes, Lori. And Glenn's daughter, Jade, is also going to speak and sing for us tonight. Yay, Jade. We have some great guests here, some musical guests from the Hooters. Glenn's good friend, Eric Bazillion, and Dave Wasikanen are here tonight. And many of the people that Glenn worked with in those years. I'm very touched to see how many good friends came out to support this event for Glenn. So, thank you all for coming. I'm going to get some people up on the stage to join me now. Let me go look at my little itinerary here. You know what? I think this would be a good time. Dave Wasikanen was also a very close friend to Glenn. Davey, would you like to come down and share a couple things?
Oh, well, this is great to see Glenn's friends and family here. In spirit of Glenn, I didn't prepare anything because, you know, you hear this, people say, oh, he shoots from the hip. You know, not that Glenn shot from the hip, but he was all about spontaneity. It wasn't that he wasn't prepared. He was prepared for anything to happen. And when you were with Glenn, I think you had to be prepared and ready for anything to happen. You know, I mean, he was just a remarkable artist. I could stand up here and just talk about him as an artist. You know, I mean, he, not only making music and producing music and helping other musicians become great musicians and writers, but, you see what he did as far as a visual art, painting, and, his whole life was all about that. At the end of his life, the last week, maybe 2 weeks of his life, he was just consumed by his art. He recorded a vocal track for something him and I were working on 3 hours or so before he passed away, which is amazing, which I hope someday you'll hear. It was June when he left us, and we had a lovely memorial. It's Trudy. Trudy came in from Los Angeles, and Jade, and there was a beautiful service there. And where he's buried, it's overlooking. There's a little lake there. It's on a hill, and his friends and some people from the East Coast came. I saw Lori and Ziv. They came out there. His brother-in-law and some friends, and I wasn't surprised to see the friends he had, because. Everybody just kind of wanted to flock to the guy, whether he was, personally, he just had this vibe about him that you just wanted to be around. And, he's dearly missed. And seeing Trudy and Nathan and Jade today for me gave me a lift. Like I needed it this week, but still, I miss him a lot, and Glenn was, and also, I wanted to kind of try, like when I saw Glenn in the studio, he had this thing. I'm gonna do Glenn. Like, can you play it? Like, can you do that? Can you, hey man, yes, that's it. That was Glenn. It was like, sing that again. That was Glenn. And man. I tell you, he was the one of a kind, man. They broke the mold with him, man. There was nobody like him. He made you want to live life. And, the one thing that I could say about him, too, I talked to him a number of times every day. I think since... when we did a thing called Rock for Life at the Yeshiva, where I talked to him every day. And, he would say to me, I feel good serving others. Somehow it just got to him. I just want to help other people. It was his mission in life, He adored his daughter, Jade. He watched her. He loved her. He loved Trudy. I knew he loved me. He loved Eric. He loved being around creativity. There's a lot of stories about Glenn. I can't even pick out really one great one, but you know, because there are so many great ones. And I'll tell you what, he would be really happy to see you all here tonight. And I'm certainly happy to see you all. And was thinking about Glenn, and thanks Viv, Lori, everybody for putting this together. So good night. Is there anybody else going to come up here? Thank you. I do that right when he's tuning the guitar. Yeah. You want to come? Are you going to? Okay, I'm going to introduce his sister, Lori. Lori, come on up. Lori, everybody.
I have to talk in the mic, I forgot. When I went to his funeral in LA, I read something that I wrote for him, and I'm going to read it. I changed it up a little bit because we have a different crowd here, but here I go. Glenn was my older brother by 2 years. We were born and raised in Philadelphia, but for a short time during our childhood, our family moved to California from 1963 to 1967. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong one. Yeah, this is the right one, okay. These little green lights on are so freaking me out. Okay, anyway, It is? I just want to make sure I got that. So, California was where we saw the Beatles' first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. From that moment, the Beatles became our absolute favorite band, and that was the beginning of Glenn's musical career. He got a cheap guitar and learned how to play, and didn't stop. We moved back to Philadelphia in 1967. That's when Glenn's search for the right band began, and also when we met Jeff Ziv. In 1972, we moved into a row home on Unruh Street. Shortly after that, Glenn saw an ad in the music store for a bass player. He obviously passed the audition because suddenly appeared Joe Focht, Mike Hinaus, Mike Primavera, and Harris Gordon. The band was called Sweet Jessie. Yeah, Sweet Jessie, huh? After Sweet Jessie broke up, they started a new band that Ziv, Prim, and Harris became a part of, called Hey Come. My parents' row home on Unruh Street is where the band rehearsed. Unruh Street was a magical place. I often refer to it as Grand Central Station. My parents welcomed everyone in their home. My mother was a singer in her father's band when she was a teenager, and she loved having the band at our house. There were no rules on Unruh Street. The door was never locked. We never knew who was eating over for dinner. The TV was blasting because the band was so loud. There was a card game in the kitchen. There were marijuana plants growing on the roof. And I'm not kidding. You know the half roof. Yeah. We didn't know that word back then, okay? Relatives, family, friends of the family, and neighbors just walked in our house. And if anyone ever did knock on the door, we knew it was their first time at the house. It was an open home and a memorable experience for everyone who was part of that time. And I know there is under the street people here right now that can verify what I'm saying. How many people are from under the street that are here? Well, I can't see you, but it's too dark for me, but I know there are. People, after years of being, have passed, I see some people sometimes and they say, oh, that house on Under Street was amazing. It was the greatest time. Like nobody had a house like that. During that time, Glenn became an amazing musician and an amazing songwriter. Our brother-sister relationship was a struggle during our earliest years. But when he taught me how to smoke my first joint, everything changed. When I told Glenn I wanted to play the guitar, he took me right to Music City and picked out my guild. He taught me 3 chords and how to play Blackbird. We used to go to a fellowship called the Messiah's Lighthouse. We would lead worship there every Sunday. He wrote a beautiful song called The Lord's Love Light and played it at my wedding, along with Ziv, Harris, Prim, and Mike Knaus. But unfortunately, he had quite a struggle with drugs and alcohol. But during the last 5 years of his life, he finally did get victory over his addiction. Glenn was sent to a place called Bathsheba, which is a co-ed rehab facility. He studied with and was mentored by Rabbi Mark. He eventually got a job there and became their music program director. When Glenn had his heart attack in May of 2018, I knew I had to get there to see him. The first place he took me to was Bathsheba. Am I saying it right? Yeah. Shuva, we didn't really observe the traditions in my family. Anyway, he said to me on a few occasions, this place saved my life. He was finally content and found a purpose with his life and finally started paying taxes. The love, respect, and admiration for him from everyone at Bathsheba was obvious. So obvious. And he loved Jade so much. He would talk to me about her a lot. And when I got the call from Jade, I cried for hours. I couldn't imagine life without him. Glenn was very special. This is kind of a letter I wrote to him. This is from me to you, Glenn. A day in the life for Glenn was a long and winding road. He was a paperback writer. He stopped being a day tripper and went cold turkey. Now every little thing had meaning. He wasn't fixing a home, he was fixing his life. He was getting better. He didn't remain the fool on the hill, but became a blackbird singing in the dead of the night. As for Jade, she was his girl and his good day sunshine. I miss the things we said today, and I will always miss yesterday. Your guitar next to my guitar was special. Now my guitar gently weeps. Glenn, you are here, there, and everywhere. Here in spirit, there across the universe, and everywhere in our hearts. In my life, I had an amazing brother. And I'm going to say that again. In my life, I had an amazing brother. I will never forget you. P.S. I love you, Glenn, always. And I'm so thankful you made it to 64. I just want to share one other little story about him. I'm sure every musician in here, if you live in Philly, have been to Cintioli's. You know, everybody knows Benny. And I went there, you know, just to buy maybe a capo or something, and I said to him, "You might know my brother." And he says, in Italian, "Who's your brother?" I said, "Glenn Goss." He has me money. I said, "He's my half-brother." So right away, the guy at the register says, "Glenn Goss, let me check this out." I'm like, "Oh no." Oh no, I better back out of the store. And it was like $8,000. But you know, it was all right. They said, "Do you know where he is?" I said, "No, I don't know where he is. I don't know." You know. And then one other little thing. Last year of my mother's life, she was put in a nursing home on Bustleton Avenue, and they called me up and they said, "We're doing some treatments on your mother, and if the insurance doesn't cover this, we'd like you to sign something that says you're going to be financially responsible for this." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" Like, no. I said, "I'll get back to you." I called Glenn. I'm really upset about it. I said, "Glenn, I can't do that. I have a house and car payments." And he goes, "I'll sign it." I said, "What do you mean you'll sign it?" He goes, "I'm not going to pay him." So, you know, they said it's very rare if that could happen, but 2 months later they called me and they're looking for Glenn. He owes them $2,300, but they never got it. So, but you know, Glenn, he was the best, and that's all I got. Hey, Zoom. Yo, who's next? Yeah. Oh, we're doing that?
Yeah, come on. Let's have some happiness. This is going to be a little sing-along to try and get everybody in. Glenn and Lori used to travel to some houses of worship occasionally to play some songs. They didn't really have a worship set for the beginning. Talking to the mic. I figured since we're all going to sing along, I should be on the same volume as you guys. Yeah, I know about these things. And just to give fair warning, Jade, if you're in the house somewhere, you'll be up next. So, and Jade is going to sing a number for us also, I'm happy to say.
don't take my sunshine away.
She was just 17, you know what I mean. And the way she walked, the way I when I saw her
Look at me, and I could see all day long. I fall in love with her.
well, since I saw her
Since I saw her standing there.
because Glenn would have done it that way. Only better.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm a little nervous. I'm Jade. I'm Glenn Goss's daughter. So, I just want to start off by saying that a lot of people keep asking me how I'm getting through everything. And not just here, just like in general in my entire life. And I think people keep getting me through everything because I have people to look forward to, my friends and my family. And he was someone that people looked very forward to seeing. I miss that about him very, very much. He made me laugh every day. I don't think there was a moment I wasn't laughing or my friends were laughing. He was something else. He was a character. I'm sure you guys all have stories of his personality, his temper, his humor. I mean, even when he was so sick, he still managed to make everyone laugh that came to visit, the doctors, the nurses.
Hey, can we keep it down a little bit? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Davey. Anyway, I don't want it to be a sad night. I really am happy that I get to hear everyone's stories about my dad. It makes me laugh because I just picture him like behaving that way. So when I was little, we used to sing this song, and oof, I'm a little emotional. So I'm gonna try to sing it. We started singing it when I was 9 years old. It's not our song, but it's our song. So just bear with me. Sorry if I mess up, okay. I'm a little bit lonesome, I'm a little bit blue. I can't stop crying since I lost you. There's a pain in my heart, like a lightning bolt. I'm a little bit lonesome, it's all your fault. Well, every time I wake up, I got you rolling in my head. Your eyes are looking at me, but they're seeing her instead. I got a big fat broken heart with the pain sharper than a steel plate knife. Well, thanks to you, these lonesome blues are the best things in my life. I'm a little bit lonesome, I'm a little bit blue. I can't stop crying since I lost you. There's a pain in my heart, like a lightning bolt. I'm a little bit lonesome, it's all your fault. Well, the last time that I saw you, she had hold of your hand. You waved across the street at me, so I turned away and ran. When I got home, I played a honky-tonk song. I played it till my eyes went red. Well, I grabbed a glass, I said, kiss my ass, I'm gonna drink you out of my head. I'm a little bit lonesome, I'm a little bit blue. I can't stop crying since I lost you. There's a pain in my heart, like a lightning bolt. Well, I'm a little bit lonesome, it's all your fault. Well, I'm a little bit lonesome, it's all your fault. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. I've known that song since I was 9 years old. Thank you.
Well, it's obvious talent runs in the family. Yeah, Jay, that was wonderful. Really, really. Your papa will be very proud tonight. So, all the way from Los Angeles, California, a member and a cantor of Bet Teshuva, and a good friend of Glenn's, I give you Nathan Rowe.
Thank you for all being here to really remember a great soul and someone that really touched me in a profound way and encouraged me, and really just, he was really the one that believed in me before I could believe in myself. So the last 5 years of Glenn's life, as Lori said, was spent at really involved in a treatment facility / Jewish congregation in LA. So I met him there in treatment. I spent a year there myself in the recovery program, and I had been a singer ever since I had grown up, and I sort of walked out on my dream and my life, and spent 10 years in a pretty dark place. So when I met Glenn, I was just starting anew, really. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, and I took a plane ride out to LA, and haven't really looked back ever since. So Glenn ran the music department at Beit Shuva, and he really, he was just hard to explain in words. He had like an energy about him, always pacing, always moving. The guy made things happen, and he had such like he touched so many people. And once you had one conversation with him, you felt this connection and like you deeply knew him. And I got to share that with him for 3 years. Some of the best moments of my life. Conversations that we had together that have changed me forever. Really spurned by him. He spent his time giving back and really trying to help people. He was living a good life, and he was creating music. He was super prolific those last years. Glenn and I came out with a 6-song EP together. I got to write songs with him. I got to record with him. He was really like my right-hand man. I spent hours on the phone with Glenn every day. So his loss is extremely deep for me. Yeah, but I'm gonna continue to move forward and really finish what he started as far as the music program at Beit Shuva and trying to help other people that are struggling in their lives and creating music and helping other people create music and heal themselves through being creative, which is such a beautiful and profound, meaningful thing. And I get to wake up every day, and that's a lot because of Glenn Goss. So I love him and I miss him. And thank you all for being here.
It's amazing that Glenn had so many talented friends. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight, I guarantee it. I have to give an honorable mention to Trudy Handelman, because Trudy really was part of what saved Glenn, honestly. My hat's off to you. Thank you so much for helping my friend in so many ways. Trudy, you're a saint. If there are Jewish saints, you're one. Okay, now we're going to have a presentation with Lori and Natalia and Frank, is it? Carl. Sorry. Okay. Do you need your tuner back? Or you got it? Good. Okay.
Sorry.
This song I wrote is called Attitudes of the Heart. Yeah. And Glenn recorded it for me. And Ziv recorded it for me. But we just on the second track.
Guilty as charged.
We changed it to the beginning.
Oh, you did? So what key is it in tonight?
It's on the second track.
On the second track.
It's like 8.
Hey, Jay, could you turn the piano on?
Listen to the Holy Spirit. Listen to the Holy Spirit. Let His words take over your mind. To walk in His way, I strive every day. My sinful nature gets in the way. The peace that passes understanding takes control. It doesn't take long to slip from his way back to the attitudes that lead me astray. We fight against what we can't see. Lord, battle the powers and principalities. Let your thoughts be my thoughts, Lord. Teach me to love in a way that's from above. Listen to the Holy Spirit. He will guide your heart just to go and make a new start. Lord, give me the attitude of your heart. Lord, give me the attitude of your heart. Lord, give me the attitude of your heart. You didn't change the key. I'm not who I used to be. But I just want to tell you about the other song. When Glenn was recording it, we were downtown on, I think, Chestnut Street. And he said, we have to do the vocals over. I said, why? And he turns his button down. I don't know anything about recording, and you can hear all this traffic noise. So he said, you have to go in the bathroom and do it. He wired a cord all the way to the bathroom, and it's that kind of bathroom where the exhaust fan turns on right away. You know? So I had to do it in the dark. So, yeah. I did it in the dark. I'm not who I used to be since Jesus touched my life. I'm not who I used to be since Jesus touched my life. I had no knowledge of my God. I had no awareness of His creation. I had no understanding. Then Jesus touched my
That was awesome, Lori. Very good. I think we have a celebrity in the house that's going to speak about Glenn in a minute. Is Steven in the house? Here you go.
Yeah, I'm not Steven. Hey, everybody. Again, one thing I want to mention about Glenn, which probably there's some people that in Philadelphia aren't aware of, maybe you are, but he worked in the film business. I mean, he was, he was very involved with creativity, and he became very good friends, made music with an actor, musician, artist named Stephen Bauer. If you've seen Scarface, Ray Donovan, Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, that's Mr. Stephen Bauer. He was a dear friend of Glenn's, became a friend of mine through Glenn, and I'm going to let Stephen say a few words about our friend Glenn. Please help me welcome Stephen Bauer.
This is not supposed to be easy, so I prepared myself, and I didn't do a good job of it. I'm already losing it. Hey, Eric. Hey, Zib. I'm here because I came here because you called. I'm still waiting for you to arrive. Kind of running late, I guess. But Glenn and he sold me my first guitar in Hollywood. He was working at the Guitar Center. And he kind of moved his way in on the salesman that was dealing with me. And Glenn just moved right in. And I said, what are you looking for? And I said, I'm looking for, a little guitar that I could plug in and that I could play live, and that I could carry, like travel with. And I said, come here. And he took me in the guitar room and plugged in this little black Kramer. And he started playing a Beatles song. And I said, you know those chords? And he said, yeah, I know them all. And I said, can you teach me? And he said, yeah, but you and I should write. I said, yeah, well, I'm not a writer. I just mimic, my favorites. And he said, okay, I'll teach you the Beatles songs, but we got to start writing. And that was it. And that started us on a journey that was sometimes a roller coaster without our seatbelts. And it's such a long journey, and parts of it are forgettable, but so much more is memorable. And somehow, through all of it, he and I, you and I, we're bound by something, an understanding, and a soul connection that is with me forever. And so, a lot of you knew him, a lot of you didn't. But he's here, and you all came here for him. And I told myself I wasn't going to do this, but But anyway, the music's beautiful, and everybody have a good time because that's what he would want us to do. Anyway, have a good time. Now's not the time for your tears.
I could really understand where Stephen Bauer was coming from. He was committed and couldn't make it to the funeral, so tonight it's hitting him. It's obvious, you know. He's got a lot of emotion. I cried for Glenn. You know, like we all had our moments, but we're going to celebrate tonight. You know, Glenn was an inspiration to just about everybody in this room at some time in their life. That's one thing you have to say about Glenn, is he was inspiring. He wouldn't let you ignore things. He could be a pain in the ass about things, but he made you inspired and want to sing. So sing we shall. Let's see, where are we in this program tonight? Is it time to sing for the Rangos yet? I don't know, do you want to do that ups and downs thing while we're doing some old time stuff? This is one of the very first songs that Glenn ever wrote. We were sitting in his mom and dad's 2-bedroom apartment in Northeast Philadelphia, and we were maybe all of 15 years old. And we wrote a little song called Ups and Downs. Glenn really wrote it. I think I got 3 words in there. But Glenn picked up the guitar, played this riff. I'd actually like to do this with you guys, with Steve and Jim and Bobby. Come on up. You'll learn it on the fly. It's 3 chords. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Lewisburg. You played it with Lewisburg. Eric came. There was a talk about him leaving Evil Seed, his teenage band. There was a moment there, and we were gonna invite Eric into our band. And he said, Lewisburg. Well, that's an unusual name. How about if you put an E on the end? You don't remember that, huh? Lewisburgy, you know. But anyhow, Eric went on to much greater things. But we always have stayed friends, and we've always enjoyed music together. From the very early days when Glenn was 15, and Eric's only a year older than us, so we're all in the same boat pretty much. I'm trying to gain on you, man. I just can't get there. So, this is in the key of G. Yeah, what key do you know it in? I'll show you one verse, and then you guys can join me. Oh, this one has more treble. Yeah, you know the riff, right? All right, well, let me just show the bass player real fast. I didn't get it. It's an umpa. And the chorus goes to C, ups and down. We all have our ups and G. Back to C. Ups and down, we all have our ups and downs. Now here's the tricky part. It goes to a B flat and then a C. Rock and roll. You want to start with the riff, or you want to? Yeah, the riff. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we all have our problems, and I'd like to tell a few. You have been a problem, and it's written on my shoe. the very famous line in that is, he couldn't think of a rhyme, so he said, it's written on my shoe.
I think that's in the Talmud somewhere.
It must have been in Psalms or something. Well, well, well. Well, we got the Rangos coming up in just a minute. Is there anybody out there in the house who would like to say a few words about Glenn before we get started with the Rangos reunion set? Be happy to pass this wireless if you have any stories about Glenn. I mean, there's tons of them. I'm thinking about the night we were on the road. We were playing at Holiday Inns across the country, and sometimes late at night, when the local diners were all closed, we'd sneak into the kitchen and help ourselves to a little bit of whatever there was in the kitchen. One night we were sneaking into the kitchen and it's pitch black. You know, they had shut all the lights out in the place. And unknown to us, there were some other guys who worked there who were also sneaking into the kitchen from the other end. And then the lights went on and everybody went, ah! And of course those guys told on us, and the next day we're sitting there in front of the owner of the place saying, you boys eat my cheesecake? Guilty, but we had a lot of good times. We traveled all around the country, singing songs. I'm glad to see that the members of that band are here tonight. I'm really touched at how many people came out, you know, to remember Glenn with us tonight. Yeah. So, anybody else want to tell a little story? How about if I tell you about the time we're writing ups and downs, and we have a bass amp in the living room of this little 2-bedroom apartment, and Glenn's mom collected all these nice little shot glasses and wine glasses and little delicate things, and you know, about 20 minutes into our playing, you suddenly hear crash, clink, bang, bang. Glenn's parents were saints. I'm telling you, they put up with a lot. We'd come in the house, there'd be Uncle Dave playing solitaire in the kitchen on the cards every day. It was like clockwork. Glenn's dad was a mentor to me. You know, he taught me a lot about how to deal in business. We'd go on sales calls with Glenn's dad sometimes and watch him work. He'd go in the house to sell siding, and we saw a master. He rarely walked out without a signed contract. And he'd show me and Glenn, this is how you do it. If they're not going to buy it, take it away from them, and they'll want it more. You know what? That works. So, well, last call for microphones. Oh, well, it won't be the last call. There'll be a break after the Rangos, but it looks like we're going to move on to the Rangos reunion now then. Guys, why don't you come on back up here and let's do that Rango thing. For those of you who don't know the Rangos, we were a band that consisted of me and Glenn. Eric Bazillion was our producer, and Mike Primavera, who I saw in the house, was our drummer. Which, Mike did some incredible drumming back in the day, and we always gave him a hard time like it wasn't good enough. But now I listen to the stuff, it's like, it's freaking incredible. And so, what did we know back then? So we got to record about a dozen songs back in the day. I shared them with my bandmates in this volume called The Rangos Hymnal. So. That white page, that's your sentence. Just put it wherever it's convenient. Well, put it somewhere else, put it on the floor. Hey, Patrice, if you're in the house or one of my boys, can you check to make sure that the video camera is rolling for this? I've been waiting 30 years for this moment. We haven't played these songs in quite a while. We actually started recording this in 1979, which... It was my brother. I'll tell you later. Okay, everybody set? All right, everything's working? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Rangos. With anything that looked good, never thought that love could be real. It was just another name for the tenderness trap. Oh, but I still kept coming back till I found you. Never thought that a woman could get to me. Oh, when you do. But now instead of myself, I find that I've been thinking more of you. Set this heart on fire for you. Your love keeps burning on the side I was made. Burning on 25 hours a day. Never thought that I'd be down on my own. Didn't need nobody hanging on. Never thought that love could be real. It was just another word for settling down. But in my darkest hour, your love kept burning Thank you. You know where that came from. Glenn loved the Beatles. You know, they had 8 days a week. We had 25 hours a day. Inspiration is where you find it. And here's somebody who is very inspirational to Glenn, myself, and all of the Philadelphia music scene. Mr. Eric Bazillion, producer of the Rangos. Let's have a nice hand for Eric. Jay, could you turn Eric's mic on, please?
Why start now? Oh, I'm on. Hi. So, I thought about what I would say on Glenn's behalf. And the thing is, you know, no matter how you count it, I'm not far behind. None of us are far behind. I mean, hell, the universe is, what, 14 billion years old, and in 6 billion years, the universe is going to say, damn, where did those 20 billion years go? But I know that if Glenn were speaking for me, I wouldn't want him to say much about me. I'd want him to say more about the people around me and, you know, what they did for me and what I did for them. So, you know, like for me, Glenn is still here. He'll always be here. We rode a fucked up, beautiful road together, and we all had our ups and downs. But at the end of it, it's all up. It's all good, because what he gave me, no one can ever take back. And I think about Steve and Ann and the dinners we'd have when we would be working all day in the basement. We'd come up and Ann would make that matzo ball soup with noodles and chicken. She didn't hold back with the noodles. No, not that Ann. And Steve would tell us these amazing stories that no one could make up. You could not make that shit up. I mean, one night he told us how he got 30 driver's licenses from 30 different states on one run across the U.S. And you know what? He didn't even have to show them to me, because I know they were real. And then giving back, and you know, Nathan, who's, you know, carrying on this torch, this beautiful torch, and Jay, where did you get that voice from? You certainly didn't get it from your father. I think Ziv might be your mother. I'm not sure. Yeah, because when I started working with these guys, it was, you know, we were all young, we were kids. What did we know? And I knew that I had these guys. I had Prim, who didn't know how good he was, and we had to kick his ass a couple of times to remind him. And then Glenn, who did his thing, and Ziv, who did his thing. And Ziv has, like, he's got this voice, right? I mean, you can still hit the notes, goddammit. And Glenn had this other thing. He didn't always hit the notes, but he always sang it right. He had this honesty and this believability, and between them, it was John and Paul. I guess I was George once in a while, which is just fine. But I had some of the best times of my life in that basement with these guys, and some great times at the end. I'm so glad I got to go out to LA and share that last show with Glenn. It's funny, I say kind of half jokingly that the last year of Glenn's life was a bonus round. And it really was. And I think he knew that. And you know, when I heard that he passed, I was sad, but I wasn't driven to tears, because I kind of knew that was where it was supposed to be. That was the perfect ending to an amazing story. And all we can do is play our music and smile and laugh, because that's what he did, and that's what he would want us to do. So let's do that, shall we? I think this is the first song I recorded with these guys, and
40 years ago, yeah, this season, in the fall of '79, we called Eric because he was the best guitarist we knew, and we had just built our recording studio in the basement of Steve and Ann's house and grow house. We pushed the limits, man. We really did. We'd rock in that place till 5 in the morning. We really had a great time, and I thank the Goss family for giving so much to us. And this one is called "Relax My Molecules," because Glenn knew how to relax.
And somewhere in Georgia,
Bus open and the school's closed. Well, let's just have it, shake it out. My mind is open for so many roads, but I think I'll take a roundabout. Disappear into the wild blue yonder, riding on an endless flight. So long, gonna hit that street tonight. Those teachers and my parents or the government cheat me, yeah. I left behind the home, you know, and I didn't leave no fingerprint. Tonight I wanna know if I'm in space, or dangerous in any way. Oh no, let it be, let it be, let it be. I wanted to relax my molecule, trying to regain my atmosphere, and to relax with the facts and keep myself in gear. I'm getting letters from a girl back home, says her belly's busting out for me. But I don't think that I'm the only one should have to take responsibility. And now I wanna know if I'm in space, instead of what's that TV. Oh no, let me be, let me be, let me be. I just wanted to relax my molecule, and I wanted to regain my atmosphere. Trying to relax with the facts and keep myself in gear. Yeah, so this is a song that Glenn wrote based on his phone number. And you gotta be our age to get this, because the song's called Cumberland 9. Now, I tell my kids we had a phone called Cumberland 9, and it's like, what's Cumberland 9? But those of us of a certain age all remember that it was preceded by a name. 288 was actually Cumberland 8. So this was 289, was Cumberland 9. Glenn's phone number from when he lived, when he was like 5. You know, he moved to LA and lost that phone number, but when he came back 10 years later, he still remembered it. And we put a little song together with Prim. I don't know, Prim's around. I was hoping to get Prim up here to sing this one, but
Oh, come on.
what do you say, Prim?
Grin, don't be shy.
shy. Tim's a lot of things. Shy is not one of them.
No, it's not. Well, Eric was an equal opportunity producer, and so he brought all of us out, and we all got to sing a song in the Rango's days.
You maybe just stand here.
Come on, we woke you up early late one afternoon for this.
Is fat in, is thin in?
I just don't know anymore.
Got a lyric sheet.
Yeah, we got the lyrics. If we can get the original vocalist up here. I'm just a poor substitute. I guess we'll have to do it the newer way. Woke me up early, late one afternoon, to take a survey of my head. Decided it's spinning, I just don't know anymore. Leave me your number, the receptionist said. You know my number, alright? Got a summons for missing a sign. The lady cop said, I got a quota to keep. Right turn, left turn, I just don't know anymore. She took the number from my registration card. You know my number, all right? Guess I'll play the governor's game from now on. He's got my number, all right. 5949, 5949, 5949. You think you got my number? I'll tell you about my number. It's not 10, it's not 9, it's not 8 or 7. It's a Cumberland thing. a song. Glenn and Eric and Trin kind of went in the other room. I was the engineer that day, on many days. And they went in the other room, they had a huddle. I remember this very well. Because I really wanted to be a writer on this song, but I was in the other room, so. Sometimes it happens like that. And I love this song. It's a lot of fun. We had a whole thing about the Rangos and coming from the planet. Actually, the city of Algernon from Mars was my take on it. So we wrote a little song called "The Martians Have Landed." Algebra, geometry, calculus, trigonometry. Chemistry, biology, basketball, psychiatry. What does it all mean to me? The future, the future. Now is the future. The Martians have landed. It's all radio, technology, video, pornography. Family, anxiety, suicide, democracy. What does it all mean to me? The future, the future. Now is the future. The Martians have landed. Jay, you have an input? I could plug this melodica thing in here. There's a story to this song. I don't know, Eric, do you want to tell a story to this one? Or should I? So the story about this song is this instrument. Actually, I had a smaller one back in the day, but size isn't everything. We wrote this. No, Glenn wrote a song back in the '70s. This was even before we were the Rangos. He had a song he wrote mid '70s called "What About Rose," and he played it for Eric. And it's a very Beatlesque kind of tune, and it's like, yeah, let's do that. But I think Ziv should sing it. Oh man, I love that I got to sing the song, but I don't think Glenn ever forgave me for that. But
He never forgave me. It wasn't your fault.
and so I had a melodica that I used to bring out to doing a couple of songs when we were playing back in the '70s. And I brought it out and said, you know what, I really think this would be great for a little solo in What About Rose? And so Eric picks it up, and within 5 minutes he's a master of the thing, as Eric is with musical instruments. And so at the end of the session he says to me, hey Ziv, could I borrow that thing? And you know, how can I deny him, you know? So it's true, I sent this to him and he took it back to Rob. And he and Rob embraced it. They embraced it so much, they named their band after it. Their engineer nicknamed it the Hooters, and the rest is the story that you all know. But now you know the backstory. What about Rose? God only knows, and the people who love her, and God only knows about Rose. When the sun comes, Rose makes her head up, waits for her lover to lay down by her side again. When she's opened up for you, she won't ever stop. The rose you love won't let you down. Here comes the honey, honey. Now that's what I like, and I'll be a lot if I treat my rose right tonight. You gotta give her all you got, and give her water when the rain don't come. When she's opened up for you, she won't ever stop. The rose you love won't let you down. What about Rose? But the people who love her, and God only knows, hey, come on, honey. That's what I like, and I'll get a lot if I treat my rose right too.
Hey man, she's a pretty nice girl.
Paging Mr. Wasikanen. Mr. Wasikanen, please come to the stage.
Steve Schott, ladies and gentlemen.
So, one good turn deserves another. Eric brought us this gem of a song one day, and we got to record it in our little demo studio, and then he took it and played it around the world, which I thank him for every day. And Davey just nails this song. I'm very proud to be able to play this with my Hooter brothers. This is one you might have heard of called Hanging on a Heartbeat.
With an extra verse in the beginning that I have to remember.
You want these words?
No, that probably, I think I got it. I got it. Yeah, turn around. No. Not like I can see it or anything. I got this, and it's a half step higher than we do it. And you know what? It's actually easier. I don't know why.